AJ, I saw this movie called Antrim. It's supposed to be like the most deadliest movie ever, most violent movie ever. I don't know. I forget how they sold it, but they sold it by saying
Antrim?
Antrim, Antrum.
Antrim.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this movie that was out in 1979 that only got shown like once in one theater, and like it burned the theater down, and people started attacking each other and all sorts of crazy shit, right? And like if you're and so then it like disappeared. No one ever seen it again. And then this one company found it, and they decided to re-release it, but with all these warnings in front of it, right? That's the whole setup. And they're like, and if you watch this movie, you'll die. That's the warning. And I was like,
No.
all right, well, let's give it a shot. So I watched it. It wasn't that bad. It was a fun movie to watch.
You're still alive.
Dude, I'm so disappointed.
Although you didn't call me for a couple days and had me a little concerned, man.
Well,
I was definitely worried. I watched Hackers because I had never watched the full movie before.
Wow. Okay.
And I watched that, and it was pretty good. It had its moments, very 90s. And then I watched Edge of Tomorrow because I freaking love that movie. So good.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
Live, Die, Repeat. It's like Groundhog Day and Returnal. No, it's basically Returnal.
Yeah, it's okay. I think I went into that with a little too high of expectations. People were like, "Oh, you're gonna love it because you play video games," and I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "Yeah, this." And now I see why you thought I would love this. Exactly. If it's
Praxbros is 7 days. You have 7 days, Brian.
7 more days
So
till
you
Halloween.
might
Halloween. No, that's 11
You
more
might
days.
want to start the show so we can
shit.
give them entertainment for the next couple days.
I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. Sure, let's start the show. This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on YouTube, live 6 p.m. Eastern, live. We're doing it now. If you're watching us right now, we're live. If you're watching us later, well, this message is a little bit confusing, isn't it?
This is happening in real time, so anything that goes horribly wrong cannot be edited out.
And it's all going to go horribly wrong. I can tell already. If you don't like watching us live or you don't like seeing our lovely faces, make sure you check us out over on Spotify or other streaming services of your choice. My name is Brian Paul from the channel right here. And this guy to my right with his head kind of chopped off. I got to fix that. I'm sorry. AJ from Underground. PSVR. Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? I see you, Stingray X, Ash VR, the groovy Game Cat, and Deborah One in the house tonight. What is up, guys? Happy hump day, and we are going to hump you full of all the PSVR news that you can handle. Hope everyone's had a great week so far. It was fun having Jake Kazdal over on Monday's show. Make sure you go check it out. He's such a character. Speaking of which, I've had a great yesterday, Brian, because I got the platinum in Song in the Smoke. And, man, I beat the game in 15 hours, and it took me 10 hours to find some rocks. Actually, big shout-out to Nickulo. He's one of our trusty mods. We were kind of giving each other tips and helping each other out. He is the very first person to get the platinum in Song in the Smoke, and I am the second. 2 Game Cats, man, working together. We were, he tried to help me out and let me get the platinum first, and he accidentally got it. But when I gave him some tips as well, he gave me some tips, and I could have not told him some things, but that's what being a Game Cat is all about, man. And so now 2 Game Cats are the first to platinum Song in the Smoke.
Nothing in this world is more Nickulo than accidentally getting a platinum.
Well, I know exactly how it happened too. Also, not only that, Brian.
Yeah.
Not only that, I'm in an extra good mood today. Because last night, I see Mr. Virtual Strangers in the chat. Wes over there was streaming Dreams Halloween games. And I stayed up till like 4 in the morning watching him. And it was a good time. He played some Left to Rot. He absolutely killed it. Checked out Astral, and I think that's kind of where I fell asleep.
Astral. That was I think that was the one based on the Insidious movies, right?
Yes, I believe so. And he
Yeah,
was loving it. It is really cool. I remember playing it, and it was awesome, man. So yeah, had a blast watching you, Wes.
it is
Good
really
stuff,
good.
man. Spooky season is here, Brian. Spooky season is here upon us. Let the
It's
darkness
it's
begin.
almost gone, man. It's like it's almost over. Where did this month go, man? I'm so sad. It's like, how did 20 days come and go? And I'm like, oh man, we got to focus on some spooky shit. So, yeah, man. The next, I'm going to be going hard on horror games for the next 11 to 12 to 20 days or so. We're not gonna let October go down without a fight. We're gonna hold on to it with all of our paws and claws as long as we possibly can. We're not gonna let this month go. AJ.
Yo.
Before we talk about some news, we try to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. Guys, if you're not part of our Discord, make sure you click the link in the description and join our Discord, man. That's where this conversations like it happen 24/7. It's a good time to hang out over there, man. And we've still giving away 2 more Song in the Smoke keys over there. One tonight and one tomorrow night. So make sure if you're still trying to get that game and you don't want to pay for it, then head over there. Make sure you just leave your name and region in the Song in the Smoke giveaway channel. Dude, there's so many other things going on over there. We've got a retro channel, so if you're a retro gamer, we have to talk about retro stuff and take pictures of stuff that we're trying to impress each other with, or be like, hey, remember this game? Like just showing off little bits of our collection. There's the question of the day that Hibbsy's taken over for time being. We've got the PSVR release calendar up there. There's plenty of reasons to go there. It's kind of your all-in-one PlayStation VR news stop. You don't really have to go anywhere else if you want to keep up with PlayStation VR news, because we got Hibbsy, man. He just posts all that shit on our news channel. So you don't need anything else. So that's that. Endeavor One says only if you can handle little retro flexes. Endeavor One's quite the retro flexer. So.
Really?
Oh yeah. Endeavor
Yeah,
One's...
that's true. They throwing name dropping a lot of PS1 games, and that's when I was like, I think I'm gonna like this company, and I do.
All right, man. But with that out of the way, we should probably get moving here with our first bit of news. Don't you think?
Yeah, man. We have a whole bunch of spooky updates coming very, very soon. Some that drop today that we're going to talk about. A huge Halloween sale that we're going to go through. Give the thumbs up, thumbs down for. Give our strongest recommendations. But first, we're going to kick things off, Brian, with back in July 16th. Was when the multiplayer for Crisis Brigade 2 dropped.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of it, I had said, I noticed while streaming Crisis Brigade 2, I streamed it with you, actually. It was a lot of fun until you ditched me and left me to die. I said, coming soon, possibly Terminators, Matrix, and Zombies, because there was a time attack mode that I noticed. And today, they tweeted a brand new picture. Maybe it was yesterday. And they showed the first look at the Crisis Brigade 2 time attack update. And it's got some familiar faces on there and references, things that I loved from the first Crisis Brigade.
All right, so here's what I'm seeing. The first picture looks like what? Neo?
Dude, that's Arnold, man.
Oh, so I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it in a little window this big on the screen. Is that really? Okay. I just saw the black sunglasses and the black dress.
Yeah, it's Arnold. And just so you know, I'll tell you about the modes in a second. Go ahead. What else do you see?
I see a zombie.
Yes, that's easy to distinguish.
And hold on, I got to wait for Professor Lilith's donation to move out of the way. Thank you, Professor Lilith. I don't know what the last one is, man. It's kind of small on my screen.
That one's hard to see. Well, so on the thing that I posted this on Twitter. This comes from @PSVR Underground on Twitter. It says, first look at the Crisis Brigade 2 time attack mode. Features 3 brand new levels with challenges and some references you might notice, as well as a bonus duck hunt minigame coming very soon. The names of the levels from the screenshot I took from the game a long time ago were called Genesis, which is like and it's spelled with a Y, so it's like Terminator Genesis. Wake Up, which is a Matrix reference.
Right.
That was the name, I think, of the Rage of the Machine song that played at the end of the first movie. And then World War Z. So seems like Terminator, Matrix, and Zombies. And then a bonus duck hunt mode minigame.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. And now this isn't out on PSVR yet, right? It seems like it might have dropped on other platforms. We're getting it, next week is the deal?
So I don't think there's anything confirmed, but I reached out to Diego over there.
Diego
Super
Martin.
nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, super, super nice guy. Awesome dude. And he said it's on the way and that he's hoping for early next week. So that's when we can expect it. But obviously, that's nothing official.
Now haven't dropped in the Crisis Brigade 2 since the multiplayer, since the day the multiplayer dropped. So I'm trying to picture these menus. Do you think these time attacks are going to be single player only with maybe a leaderboard, or do you think that these are also going to be playable multiplayer?
That's a good question. However, if they're time attack modes and have a leaderboard, then you'd have to assume they're single player.
How cool would it be to be like, see, that would be dark, and God Cannon, completed this in this amount of time. It would be cool to have those leaderboards and have them actually show the two people that teamed up to do it.
Yeah, that would be really cool. It's a possibility. I'm going to keep my expectations in check there.
Probably for the best, yeah. We got a couple tips to take care of. We got Professor Lilith with the $5 tip. Says this week's multiplayer for this Sunday, October 23rd, 2 p.m. Eastern, is Star Trek Bridge Crew. The poll for October 30th starts tomorrow. Professor Lilith, thank you so much for this reminder. It's nice giving people not only a reminder of what games we're going to be playing this Sunday, but also a reminder if you want to get in on those games, it's yet another reason to come join us over on Discord. Because some of these games, if you wanted to play Star Trek Bridge Crew right now, you just drop in and you'd be like, I'm sitting here all by my fucking self. Like, that is just what's going to happen. But getting a few cats together to play usually doesn't take too much work, but having an organized thing like this makes it no work. Well, Professor Lilith does a lot of work, but you don't have to do any work, which is the good part. So thank you very much for that reminder, Professor Lilith. We also got Bell Ramio, the Gamecat, with the €20. Says, didn't fall asleep on time tonight. Good for you, as you can have some pocket change. I could remind you of Minecraft 1.19 for next year, as it looks to become a super spooky, but it's far out. So I bother you next year. All right, you can bother me next year, and thank you so much for the donation, Bell Ramio. We'll have to address that at some point. It was super spooky.
Yeah,
Anything
he
spooky
DM'd me, and I forgot to add it. I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah.
But I can always count on Bell Ramio to remind me when there's some major update with Minecraft. Thank you, bud.
Yeah, maybe we can tack it on the Friday show. So, all right, man. Well, Crisis Brigade 2 time attack update. It's good to hear that it's not 6 months away, because was the Party Pack update for Mini Motor Racing X still not out. I know it's a different developer, but sometimes PSVR is getting the short end of the stick on these things. The Beat Saber multiplayer patch still not out in PSVR, and of course, then there was the multiplayer.
That's why I didn't want to say it's 100% next week, because that always happens.
Right, but even the multiplayer for this game took forever to come out. Like it seemed like it was going through certification endlessly. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. So anyway, let's move on.
Moving on, Brian, to some Hitman 3, baby. Oh, I love this game. And I know that I'm way more into action and stealth and, secret missions, secret spy missions and stuff a little bit more than you. But now I'm happy, Brian, because tomorrow, 3 p.m. CEST.
Central Time, yeah.
Is that Central Time?
I think it's Central. Well, wait a minute. CES? I don't fucking know, man. That's too many letters.
That might be. They're like in Sweden or something, so it could be something else.
Maybe.
But I think CST is Central Standard Time, but I have no idea at this point. Anyways, sometime tomorrow, Brian, October 21st, IOI Interactive has posted that they are teasing something, and they put some quotation marks and say, "They are coming for you."
Barbara?
And then it says new. Yeah, I was waiting for you to say that. I should have paused just a little bit longer. And then they said new season reveal. And they have a picture of the mansion that looks all dark and dreary at nighttime. I think we could be getting a Halloween update for Hitman 3. They did Easter. so they should do, by law, you should have to do Halloween as well.
Dude, that's an excellent point. I didn't even think about the Easter egg hunt, which was pretty extensive. It was certainly more than just an Easter egg hunt. They put a lot of work into that. So yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty cool, and especially I think the Seven Deadly Sins series of DLC wasn't terribly well received, mostly because it was super expensive for what you were getting. So it is nice to kind of get these little bonuses and make you feel like you spent all this money and you're actually getting your money's worth. I'd like to actually, I'd love to see some numbers on how the Seven Deadly Sins DLC did, because I haven't really heard from anybody who's been like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the next piece of DLC. Like almost nobody's interested.
I didn't do so. I will say, regardless of how this is like the hardest game to figure out how to buy and play, and same with all the content. I did a lot of a popular thing to get requested on my Saturday Night live streams was something like the special contracts that they would do. The post-launch support for this game has been really good, and they've had tons of events, and they. A lot of sometimes you'd expect people go into a game, they'll kind of reuse the same assets and create more content out of it. They actually did a lot of like extra designing, extra really detailed like stuff that was really cool. And I think this could be really cool. I really enjoyed the Easter egg thing. I thought it was really clever. But I've enjoyed all the free content, and I expect this to be a free content thing, hopefully.
I love when I say, man, I wish we could get some numbers on this. And then I go, wait a minute, we got a bunch of cats right here. Let's see how many of you bought the Seven Deadly Sins DLC. If you bought Hitman, only answer the question if you bought Hitman. Otherwise, you're going to skew our numbers all sorts of wrong, which is fine. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. We do have a few tips in the chat here that I'd love to address. Always some fun questions. Josh76 with a $5 tip says, better game, RE7 VR or RE4 VR? I'm going to guess that you haven't played RE4 in VR yet, AJ?
No, I haven't. No, it just came out today. And I will tell you from the reviews that I read, even though it's getting great reviews, I've actually decided against playing it because I'm just not interested in. Really?
Yep. Whenever all those quick time events, switches to flat screen and then it jumps back. You're facing a different direction.
A third person, I was really surprised to hear that it like jumps into third person for some of the cutscene stuff, and like I really hate that outer body experience stuff. It's so just jarring, and I'll still check it out eventually, but I could probably guess and say Resident Evil 7 hands down.
Well, it's also $40, and I'm just not looking to spend $40 on anything right now. Like that is just out of my price range at the moment. So, and I don't want to come across as super negative. Like I don't want to be like I'm not interested because of these small complaints. I am interested, and I definitely want to check it out at some point. But I've got enough other things going on right now. And I really don't see myself playing this game for more than 20 minutes at a time without getting the Pro strap for the Quest 2. So yeah, I'm without having played anything, I'm going to give a very uneducated guess and say Resident Evil 7 kicks fucking ass. Yeah. Cyber Expanse VR with a $5 tip says, hey, I heard you guys mention something about a Swordsman VR physical release from Limited Run. Any update on that? Correct me if I'm wrong. You are not wrong. We did absolutely announce that. There has not been any details about that announced. I would expect to be hearing something more soon. But there's been no news since the deal was signed. Well, man, but Limited Run's killing it. I look over there pretty much every day, and there's always new shit popping up on Limited Run games. Obviously, when Sin Studio is ready to announce something or Limited Run's ready to announce something, we'll have a video here on Without Parole.
I don't know if you caught this yesterday or Monday either, Brian, but it sounds like there could be another Limited Run release in the works at some point. I don't know if you caught on to that. Anywho.
Well,
okay, so Brian.
Listen. I don't know what you're trying to imply other than the fact that when Jake Kasdal was here on Monday, he said there'd be a song in the smoke release, and he kind of accidentally said, "Yeah, there'll be some kind of limited version of it," and he stumbled a little bit. And so I think he was trying his hardest not to say limited run games, but I do think whether it's limited run or like super rare or special reserve or any of those other groups, I'm sure it'll be limited run. It sounds like it'll be a limited printing. Now, whether that be an open pre-order or a set number, I guess will remain to be seen. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled on limited run games or any other site because that does sound like it's in the works.
Yep. So Brian, I got to ask you before we move on, because we need to move on real soon. Are you going to check this out? Are you excited about this, a Halloween or potentially spooky update for Hitman 3?
Yeah, Hitman was one of those games that I absolutely loved playing through. I loved playing through Hitman 1 and 2 as well. But I wasn't the kind of guy that wanted to go and explore every single way to take down every single mission or find all those possibilities. So I sort of fell off on Hitman after I was done reviewing it. It would be like a little faster than I expected to. So as much as I loved it and thought it was great and definitely contended for Game of the Year, I need new experiences when I drop into these things, and so this potentially, if it's a new map or a brand new take on an old map, I could certainly see myself, falling back into the DLC for sure.
Fair enough. I will say though, I did have some pretty different experiences by taking down the levels with different ways.
Oh, sure.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I did that too, for sure. I actually didn't want to move on from levels. I'd beat a level and then just stick with it for a couple more attempts and see what else I could do with it. One more. We got Looper the Gamecat with the €5 says the tomorrow's Hitman reveal is 99% Wrath DLC, the last sin in 7 Deadly Sins. That's interesting. Which would make sense. It would be. 92% of people who bought Hitman 3 in our community here, based on the 50 people who voted, did not buy the DLC.
Yeah, because most of it wasn't a guaranteed VR, probably. And how the hell do you know where to buy it? There's like 50 million menus. Just buy the main 3 games. You're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of content there. If it ends up being the Wrath DLC, then I don't know, man. I know you can buy these things separately, but we'll see. We'll have to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
But, all right, man, let's move on.
Well, let's move on indeed, Brian, because today No Man's Sky has released Expedition 4. And man, I am so excited. You'd think it'd be like no surprise anymore. But every time they do something, it's such a surprise. And they teased something last week that we caught on to, we reported about. It was a little sign of a worm. And I actually guessed, one of my first guesses was riding sandworms or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is, I don't think they're sandworms. They're just giant worms. But today, yes, the new expedition has begun. And it has a lot of stuff in it. And you got to check it out, Brian.
I did get to check it out. Now, normally, AJ is the No Man's Sky guy around here.
Yes.
And I just sit back and go, you tell me, man. You tell me all about it. And I'll just pretend like I'm interested. Because here's the problem. The problem is that No Man's Sky is daunting. Right, and now I've got a bunch of hours in No Man's Sky, but every time I jump back in, I always feel like I'm starting from scratch. Whatever it is with this game is just not clicking with me, and I'm just always having an issue trying to get in. And so I was a little bit nervous about this because I didn't want to jump in and try to have to relearn everything that I had forgotten. But it's an expedition, so you're starting from scratch, and the game is telling you what to do the whole time. I still struggled, not going to lie, right? I probably played for an hour and a half.
I was wondering if this was going to happen.
I played for an hour and a half. Well, and I think that most people who play this for an hour and a half are going to get, in the first 10 minutes that they play, they're going to get as far as I did in 90 minutes. Now, the good thing about this is that I really did feel like I was relearning these things, and it was finally clicking, and I was running around doing all these things, and with the move controllers, remembering where all the buttons were at, remembering how to access my inventory. You wouldn't even believe there's 5 minutes of me going, how the fuck do I access my inventory? It's like hitting buttons and shit, nothing's happening. I finally remember to look at my wrist. So if you guys are out there, if there's anybody out there and you are, if No Man's Sky just seems overwhelming to you and it just seems too daunting, I'm going to say that this might be a fun expedition to drop into because because I struggled with it a little bit, but I felt really satisfied as I started figuring things out and things became more comfortable for me to do. Now, as far as the actual DLC, as far as the actual expedition, you can see here in the footage, it's so cool to have these sandworms like flying over you, just like pretty much
Let's see.
nonstop.
Hold on, wait. Let
What?
me see. Are these the big? Are these the big sandworms?
I mean,
Or the big worms?
they're pretty fucking big.
Because there's a lot of shit that's always flying over you, and it's guys, some little like smaller dragon-looking things. So
Okay.
I wanna see this and see if this is like the big ones.
Well,
While that is scrolling, Brian, let me tell you the full. Can I tell you the full thing that's in the update?
oh sure.
So they have added sandworm pets. Okay, so they do call it sandworm themselves. Sandworm pets. You can now own one of these creatures, which is something I really wanted. I think the pets and the riding animals updates have been some of my favorite updates in the last 5 years to No Man's Sky. So this is awesome. Those things are huge. Reminds you of like good old Beetlejuice where they're like riding sandworms. There's
Bro,
new sandworm.
dude, I want one of these because it'd be like never ending story for me. I'd be pretending it's a luck drag,
Oh,
be
there
like
you go.
Valcor, right? I mean, because that's the epicness of these things flying overhead. It's really good
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah, there's been some cool moments, and they randomly would like pop up some places. There are new sandworm variants. There's 8. There's a complete total of 8 different types of sandworms now. 4 of them are like 3 mouths. 4 of them are 4 mouths. You can fight titan worms, which I don't know what that means yet. You can collect sandworm eggs, which sounds disgusting but amazing. There's flesh pyrotechnic. I love this. Richer virtual effects, a ghastly trail. I don't know what any of this means yet. New expedition rewards like a sandworm helmet, and of course, rideable sandworms.
Yeah.
And for the record, I haven't had a chance to play this yet, but after Gamescast, it's on, baby. I'm gonna be streaming this
Nice.
and checking it out. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, so the fact is that, again, a little bit lost going through it, but I did feel like I had a pretty good handle on it, and the first thing that the game it tells you to do is to basically track these sandworms as they're flying through the sky and like find the points where they like burrow into the ground, and so you're tracking these things all over the planet. And so I was in caves, and I definitely found some sandworm eggs, and I mean there's a lot going on here, and so again I got to the point where I discovered one of the places where the sandworms burrowed. I was having a lot of fun, and then I was fixing a whole lot of shit. I was fixing my ship and getting that taken care of. I finally got off the ground, and I was heading toward I think the game sort of like said, okay, now you go do your
Oh
thing, man.
wow, look at that.
Now you kind of go do your thing, man. It's like go have fun, and I was like, oh, now what? They took me off the leash, and now that I'm off the leash, I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I'm excited because now I'm like, I definitely want to go back. Like I'm ready to go back tonight. I can't after the show's over. I'm gonna go play it just on my own.
Yeah.
While you're streaming, I'm just gonna be playing it for fun. So
Yeah,
this
I
this might
just
have been
saw one of your sandworms go by, and yeah, definitely lots more detail on them. Oh, I can't wait. I've got goosebumps. I'm so ready for this.
yeah, it was really cool because again this seemed like the perfect DLC for me. Not only is it creepy and crazy, but it's also lets you start from the beginning, and you don't have to work your way through a saved game and find your way to some distant
Right.
galaxy to discover this shit. It's just there, which I know that's how expeditions work. But I've been very tentative to jump into expeditions just because I'm like I don't really have the time to spend 20 hours relearning this thing. And so it's
And
like
as a reminder, your rewards you get from this expedition transfer to your main save file.
which is great. Again, another great reason to play. Belramio was with me here. He said with the €5 says that's me. Played a couple hundred of hours, took a long break, jumped back in, and felt lost and gave up again. So Bell knows what I'm talking about. We also got Cyber Expanse VR with the $5 tip. Says by the way, you should check out the short film Cigarette Burns by John Carpenter. Norman Reedus' character has to find a film that drives you insane. Nice.
I'm so glad you mentioned John Carpenter because I love John Carpenter movies and everything from like The Thing to so many more. But this trailer that they did for the No Man's Sky Expedition, this one, what is it? What is it called? I keep Emergence. Yeah, Emergence.
Yep.
It gave me like some John Carpenter vibes as it ramped up. Really cool stuff.
We also got a five quid tip from Scott Jesco, PSN Harry Fellow, PSVR Gamecat for Life. Says, watching 8 hours when I get home from work. Anyway, I just doubled my Patreon support to 10 quid to get AJ hired, so I can get my fall name on the scroll. Awesome. Yeah, so don't forget, guys, you've only got 11 more days of your name being on that Patreon scroll. I think, I forget what we changed it to. Is it $3 or more, $5 or more? Because now it's everybody. You contribute anything, your name is on that scroll. I promised everybody, don't worry, we'll have your name on there for the full month of October. But this is the transition month, so we're going to be changing things up a little bit at the end of the month. Thank you, Scott Jessica. We're gonna hire AJ.
Yeah, thank you guys for the support. It really means so much, man. Our Patreons and our support there's been so much outpouring of support, and we are working towards this goal. So let's make it happen, guys. Keep it coming. Let's do this. Tell your friends.
Josh76 with the $5 tip says, No Man's Sky is a game for people who don't like closure. Who are they marketing to anymore? No way is a noob going to tackle this game. Well, that's I think that's what expeditions are great for, man. I think expeditions are great for noobs because you jump in and you're like, man, this would be overwhelming otherwise. And then not only do you kind of get that base knowledge again about how to craft, how to repair things, but then when you go to a brand new saved game, like if you're a noob, and then you already have some stuff to start with, and then you get to kind of redo some of this stuff, but you already have the knowledge. So this is good. This almost feels like prepping you to jump back into the core game. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the game is definitely about open world, endless exploration, open universe, endless exploration. But
it's not for everybody. That's for sure. I totally get it.
It's not for everybody. I will say though, I mean, I was a noob once. I love the game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Jay Meow, one of our mods, just started this game within not too long ago, and he won't shut up about it. And yeah, so it's not like it's meant for players that have never played before. Anybody can pick. It's a game. You're supposed to be able to pick up any game, a good game, anyways, and just pick it up and play it.
Yeah, for sure. It's daunting though. I mean, I'd be totally lying if I said it's not daunting. It's super daunting.
It has its own chemistry system, and
yeah,
like it's got a lot of its own science, periodic table, and a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it can have a lot to learn, but man, is it rewarding?
Yeah. Well, and
Resident Evil 7 is scary. It didn't stop me from playing it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, this is what I was talking about with Song in the Smoke. Song in the Smoke is so tactile, where you pick up things, and like crafting just makes sense because you're putting things together and you're whittling things, and it's just very like your brain can comprehend it way easier because you're actually doing the things you do in real life. No Man's Sky is so much about dragging things around the menu, just like dragging around the little 2D icons around the menu, dropping them in places, holding the move button, clicking the trigger on them, and so I don't get the satisfaction from crafting in this game as I do in Song in the Smoke. But what it offers, in return is so much bigger and so much, more expansive. So yeah, it's all good. All right,
cool,
we should probably move along.
Yes, move along. Fast Travel Games, who
I've heard of them.
Actually Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife releases next week, Brian.
It's about
we
fucking
still
time.
don't have keys though.
About fucking time.
Yeah, no, we've been waiting on this game for a long time. Really excited about that release next week. Cannot wait. But today they tweeted, today we're shooting the trailer for our next title. What genre do you think this is? Guess correctly, and we'll give you a code to redacted upon release. You only have one guess. So you guys can go on there and guess the genre on their Twitter at Fast Travel Games of their new thing. Now the picture is just a green screen room. So I'm expecting another mixed reality trailer here. But yeah, go up there, just say any genre and get a chance to win their next game for free.
I mean,
guess correctly, and we'll give you a code. They got to honor that, right?
Yeah, right. But I mean, but but whenever this game comes out, they'll give you a code. Like you may not know if you guess correctly for a year. We have no idea
Oh, I
how
will.
far away this game is.
I'll write it down. You let me know if you win, and I'll make a list of names. I'll make sure you all get it.
Yeah, I can't believe we've gotten to this point where we're talking about a picture of a green screen. Like it's a new low for Gamescast Live, folks. So check out this picture of a green screen, dude. So okay, so let's chat about this for 1 second. So far, we've gotten Apex Construct, which is sci-fi, I would say. We've also gotten Curious Tale of Stolen Pets, which is a cutesy puzzle game, and then we also got we're getting Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife, which is obviously a horror game.
Yeah.
What's your guess? Where do you think they're going next?
Oh, I wonder, if they're saying that you have to guess the genre, you'd have to imagine it's not something very obvious. I'd probably just guess action adventure. I mean, realistically, I feel like it's going to be a puzzle game, but I'm just going to say action adventure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I hope it is.
I'm gonna go with Hero Shooter.
Hero shooter. No, don't do it. Fast travel.
Come on, man. That's what all the cool PSVR developers are doing now. Hero
Could
Shooter.
be stealth. Could be. It could be stealth. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's lots of. It could be anything.
But dude, I'm so not excited for another mixed reality trailer. That's for sure. I hate mixed reality trailers with a passion. I think they're terrible. I don't think they're doing VR any justice by showing some dude with a VR headset on walking around the virtual world. I don't think that's helping anybody. Like, just show us the first person footage, man, and like that'll be.
I like seeing the first person footage myself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
GC13 in the house tonight. What up, GC? She says wave shooter.
Listen, we're not asking what Skydance is doing next. Hero Shooter, right? Hero Shooter. I know it.
Belramio says clearly a sports game.
Clearly.
I like the guesses. Oh, Brax Bro said wave shooter too.
There you go.
Beard of Power 666 says dishwashing sim.
Okay.
And then finally, we'll close it out with Ben Dawson saying rhythm action dating sim.
I think that's
rhythm action dating sim. That sounds fun.
That's the one I want more than the rest. Okay, we need a good dating sim in VR. I don't think we have enough. I think the ones we've gotten have been way too tame. Sony needs to lessen the grip and make these things fucking crazy. Just saying.
All right, man. So moving on, we have another update for a game, and that is Swordsman VR and the Hel update. Sin Studio posted on Twitter. Hel update will release on October 25th, 5 days from today. They also ask, we hope you're ready for everything that comes with this update, and what are you most excited about?
Are you asking me?
And so I ask you, Brian, what are you most excited about?
I mean, it's cool that they're doing another boss fight. I think they get real experimental with the boss fights. I've said that they're the Claws DLC was cool because it finally added something interesting to the arena where the pieces of the glacier that you're fighting on are falling off and you have to actually be concerned about the environment. This is saying that there's it's a multi-area, 2 areas for the boss fight. And all I keep thinking about, because he asked me if I wanted to know, and I said I don't want to know. Just tell me what you're going to tell everybody else, right? Tell me what you're going to go public with. I want to be surprised along with everybody else. So I said I don't know the answer, but I can't stop thinking about like Mortal Kombat. I think it was 3 that introduced. Like you'd be fighting on the street, and then you'd like do this crazy uppercut, and your character would fall through the concrete and into the sewers or something. Like I can't remember.
I think
exactly
it was the opposite. I think you were in the sewers, then you uppercut, and then you're on the street.
Right. And that's the kind of stuff I can't stop thinking about whenever I think about
was thinking that too,
area arena. Rusty. So I mean, so something like that would be really cool. And they're also the other thing they're talking about is, besides the arena, is new combat mechanics that haven't been seen before in Swordsman.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that might be what I'm more excited for than anything. What do you think that's going to be?
I don't know. It sounds like, so if you don't want any potential spoilers, cover your ears for the next 15 seconds.
Wait.
I think
Wait. This is you guessing, right?
Guessing.
Well, then it's not a potential spoiler.
Well, okay, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, unless you know the answer, and if in that case,
No,
shut
I
the fuck
don't.
up.
I don't. I don't. I don't know the answer, Brian. Don't
Okay.
worry. But I'm pretty sure I know the answer.
I hope it's. I want it to be
so-
fatalities.
So I think the 2-stage system is. I think you're going to go to hell, and then for the new mechanic, the Easter egg from the last update was a barrel that you could go and pick up. So there might be some like interactive items, some barrels. I don't know, something that you can mess with. Maybe you have to pick up the barrels and throw them into something to activate something. I don't know. So totally a guess.
Yo, real
but
quick.
I think I'm close.
Bradley, turn your fucking phone on. I texted you yesterday. This is how we're communicating now through GameScast Live. Excellent. Turn your phone back on. Dude, what gave you the indication that we're going to hell? Do you think it's the fact that the DLC is called?
How did you guess? How did you know
it's
that?
It's fucking called hell.
Get out of my head, Charles.
So do you think we're going to be fighting somewhere in like
It's Halloween, yeah, and it's a demon. Of course, you're going to be fighting in hell.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think this is super exciting. And again, hats off to Sin Studio, who just keeps bringing more and more free DLC. I mean, it's out of control at this point.
Yeah. The last one, the advanced weapon mechanics, is super fun. I grab every sword by the blade and bash people's heads in with the hilt. It's like so wrong, but it feels so right, Brian.
It does. I mean, first of all, I'm a little concerned for my hands, right? Because I'm just constantly grabbing the blade. But it's so much fun to treat people's heads like a baseball. And boom, it brings me back to my t-ball days, because that's as far as I ever went with that sport. Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway.
All right. Woo, we gotta move, Brian.
All right, let's move.
Well, something popped up. I was hanging out last night, having a grand old time, minding my own business, feeling good after getting the platinum.
You never mind your own business. You're so full of shit already.
What?
You never mind your own business.
What are you talking about?
You never mind your own business.
So anyways, I was like, I'm subscribed to this magazine called Play Magazine, formerly known as Official PlayStation Magazine UK. And the thing is like, I love PSVR so much. I will look for new information anywhere I can because it entertains me. I not only love playing PSVR, I love the community around PSVR, especially the Gamecats, numero uno. I love everything about it. Any news, obviously, So I've had this magazine for a long time. For a while, I've never really agreed with their opinions in Play Magazine, but I've been like, I still enjoy seeing a fresh perspective. And so I was just reading through, Brian, and I saw that they had the Fract review, which is way late, by the way, guys. And I was like reading the review because I still read magazine reviews and I love gaming magazines. And it's like just gushing about how great Fract is for pretty much the entire thing. And then I see the score and it says 4 out of 10. And I was like, wait, I was like, what is going on here? And basically they said these certain quotes, like, it's all incredible on paper, talking about Fract. Mm-hmm. Sadly, in practice, it's uncomfortable, hot, and sweaty. And so I don't know, man. The things they said, and I think what really put me over was that this is the summary at the end. It says, has all the hallmarks of a PSVR hit, great ideas, action, and visuals, but playing it will make you feel ill. Even seasoned PSVRers should play this with caution. Ian Dean. And so I was just like, what year is it, man? Because I don't know. I don't know about you, but I found this, I've thought this was really frustrating. Mm-hmm. And it's really petty. Like, I feel like it is kind of petty of me to be like caring so much about this, but I think it is important. So you had brought up the question of, who should be reviewing VR games these days or in the future, and who can we trust and who should we look to?
Well, I do love that Play Magazine responded to your angry rant, and they said that this guy has reviewed multiple VR games in the past, and in that they had one other person try it and had the same results. Now, Frack to me is a game that so many people have tried, that mostly because there's a free demo, and so everybody's jumped in at some point and tried Frack to see what they think of it, whether it's the actual game or the demo, and nobody in our community is talking about getting motion sick. So first off, this is just a bad take, right? And or when I say a bad take, I don't mean they're wrong for what they're saying. I'm saying that it seems like they're getting a little defensive, and in trying to say no, this is the case for other gamers. But like you said, the review's so late. They could have looked at other reviews and said, man, no one's complaining about motion sickness. They never reached out to us and said, hey, like, you guys play PSVR constantly. What's the deal with the motion sickness here? Like, they didn't do anything except had two people from their staff play the game. They both get motion sick. I'd love to see who these people are and see what other VR games that they've covered, because my guess is that these guys are the guys that were assigned to review VR games. They never said, hey, this guy plays a ton of VR in his spare time. He's a VR fanatic. No, he's reviewed other VR games, and
right.
And those could be any games. We don't know if it was Job Sim, right, where you're just standing still the whole time, or Surgeon Sim, right? One of those types of games.
Expected to Die 2 got like an 8 out of 10 or something, which is fine.
Right.
But yeah, the thing is like, people should be, when it comes to who should be reviewing VR games, I feel like, or anything for that matter, I feel like they should be equipped and educated on the matter. I don't want to read a review about a hiking trail by somebody who got dehydrated and then said it was a bad trail because they got dehydrated. It's like that does not work.
Right.
There was a lot of people making a lot of great connections. Yeah, I mean, somebody said it's like saying a pizza joint sucks because you can't eat gluten.
Right. This game had flashing lights and I have epilepsy and so I can't play it 4 out of 10. Right.
Right. Exactly. That was actually Justin. That was Justin from Tab Games, who's making Samurai Slaughterhouse. He says it's like giving a flat game a low rating because it has flashing lights, preventing some players from trying it. And this is the point here. And what I did was, I actually didn't expect this to get so much attention, but I really appreciate everyone who supported it. It was really, I wasn't trying to start an angry mob. I was just letting them know, hey, I read you guys for the very little bit of PSVR coverage you have, and like, this is not acceptable to me. And I was just letting them know, like, I don't have to subscribe to your magazine, and if you want to keep me, like, I expect a little bit more from you guys here. And that was basically the point I was trying to get across, is that you should judge the game by the game, and not. You got to be prepared. And so this is worrying. Going into the future, I feel like we're going to see this pop up left and right. Aren't there also comfort options for this game? Were they not playing with comfort options? Did they not go and remember the whole Borderlands 2 thing with IGN? This is what worries me about people covering VR in the future, is people that are just not prepared, not equipped to do this.
Yeah. This is the problem is that most places don't have dedicated VR gamers on staff or people that are excited about VR. VR is still such a small niche community. And we see that, we see that there's like pretty much no one covering PSVR games anymore. Right. And so it's tough, because how do you keep someone like that on staff when like that's what they're proficient at, when and then you look at the numbers and you see, oh wow, only like 12 people read our Fract review, so like no one really cares. So
right, I'm sure they didn't expect anybody to say anything about this. I wouldn't have if I was in their position.
Right. So I would say that if they thought they did the right thing, and they thought they went above and beyond and made sure that two different people had the same experience, I mean, it's hard to say, because some games do cause more motion sickness than others, right? It's more prevalent in some games than others, and they obviously thought this was one of those games. So it's hard to fault them on that, right? When they said, well, we've got two people, they both got motion sick, neither one of them usually do. So it's like, all right, fine. But I do think that if you need somebody who doesn't get motion sick easily, if you're going to be hiring someone freelance or not to review a game in VR, you need to vet them. You need to make sure, hey, do you have a lot of experience with VR? Do you get motion sickness easily? No? Great, here you go. If you have multiple people on a staff and a few people tried it and 2 people got motion sick, but the dedicated guy didn't, well, then that's something to add, in your review and say, hey, just for people who might suffer from motion sickness, just a heads up, this might give you a little bit of motion sickness. Our main reviewer didn't have any problems, but our other guys did. It's important to mention, right? Especially if you see it as a big problem. Robinson the Journey got a lot of people sick on the OG PS4. But then not so much on the Pro or PS5. Not at all on PS5 because it doesn't work on PS5. So it's something to mention.
There was a lot of constructive conversation around this whole thread from this tweet that I made. And like I said, I really appreciate everybody sharing their viewpoint. And like I said, I've seen some VR reviewers that I was like, whoa, you are way too harsh because it's not doing the things that you wanted. But even with those, it was I just disagreed with them. I was like, well, we feel differently about this game. Yeah. But at least there was some logical explanation behind it, right? Some logic and design things that I thought was pretty cool. So, but some things, like I said, there was, I think it was Road to VR or something was also really harsh on the game. And I was like, well, I disagree. I feel completely different. But I was like, but at least you're using, I can understand. I'm usually pretty good at putting myself in someone else's shoes and seeing their point of view and just have that understanding. But this was not acceptable to me. And again, I like Play Magazine, the official PlayStation Magazine UK. This is kind of a one-off. But they've been pushing it. I think ever since they gave Returnal a 6 or 7, I was like, oh, okay, you're pushing it, guys. But yeah,
I think they've learned that good scores don't get a whole lot of publicity. When you're super critical about a game that everybody else loves, that's going to give you the clicks. Everyone's going to talk about it and give you shit and be like, oh, what the fuck, man? And then they see tens of thousands of people suddenly watch the video or read the review that normally wouldn't have given a fuck, right? And I think unfortunately that could be something that's happening here, that they're just giving great games poor reviews for the clicks.
Yeah, it just seems like a little bit of I don't know. But Genetic Blasphemy says there are people that get motion sickness from flat screen games.
It's true.
And the truth is, I play so much VR that when I went back to playing flat screen games, I actually started getting motion sick. But I didn't blame the game. And you just think that people that cover gaming, people that are a gaming brand covering everything gaming should just know these things. I knew that, this isn't the game's design. It's not a technical thing that's happening. When people get sick, if a game is running at 30 frames per second or has frame drops or some technical issues that are causing sickness, then you can say, I think, but if there's if there's technically nothing wrong with the game, then I completely disagree with and again, we have to hold into account the fact that it gets that a game can cause motion sickness. However, A, I don't know if he was using the settings, and B, that should not affect the score unless it's a technical problem with the game. It shouldn't affect the score. When you say, it's an amazing game, but I got sick. I mean, maybe don't eat 3 hot dogs and feel sick going in to play the VR game first,
Well, right, and that's something that some people just don't understand, that there are elements in the real world that can affect you getting sick in VR. Right. If you're
feeling bad before you go into the game, you're going to feel worse. Probably.
Right. If you feel sick, if you're on an empty stomach, if you're over caffeinated, I mean, there's a ton of different things. And we've got a million different things that help prevent motion sickness. And again, so if you're one of these guys that are kind of thrown into this position where you're like, well, I guess I'm the guy who has to review VR games. Well, then they don't know this shit, right? They haven't done their research, and honestly, if some gaming publication is going to say, hey, we're going to pay you $500 to review this game, even if you're not a VR guy, you're going to be like, sure, I know VR inside out. Sure, I'll review this game, no problem. You're going to lie your ass off, right? And so, but again, I don't know this guy's history, and so I don't want to.
It's not a personal attack. I wanted to be very diplomatic about this, but at the same time, call you out and giving you an angry rant and give you a slapping on the hands and say, don't do it again, because next time I will cancel my subscription, because I pay for this shit. I don't pay for garbage like that.
Yeah, he should know better. If he has indeed played as many VR games as they're trying to say, then he should
Yeah.
know the difference between games where you're standing stationary, where there's teleportation, where there's full locomotion, and he should know what games make him sick and what games don't, and say, listen, I'm not the guy to review this game, right? That's where the responsibility starts, is with the journalists themselves, and goes, I'm just not the right guy for this. I saw somebody, I think it was, I don't know who it was in the chat, I'm sorry, but it says that the right person needs to review the game, whether it be genre or format or I don't want to review a game on the Xbox Series X, right? It's going to take me a minute to even figure out where all the buttons are. Right? I played my Xbox One for like 3 hours total and had it for like 3 years, right? So I'm not familiar with that ecosystem that much, so I mean, some people are just not the right people to review certain games.
Yep.
And it's tough, man. Like, motion sickness is so individualistic. It only happens to certain people on certain games. And that's another thing that reviewers need to understand. If it happens to you, then you do need to call all your editorial buds in and go, hey, please give this a shot and see if it's just me. Right? I don't think asking one other person who probably also doesn't play VR is enough on play's end. I think they've really screwed the pooch here.
Yeah, when you say, it's the wording, I think that killed me, and some of the things he said. He says it's all incredible on paper. Sadly, in practice, it's uncomfortable, hot, and sweaty. What about Beat Saber that makes you hot and sweaty? What about Super Hot that could make you hot and sweaty?
But hot and sweaty, I'm assuming he's talking about the feeling you get from motion sickness, right? And it's like, well, dude, turn a fucking fan on, right? Is that causing you to get hot and sweaty? Is the room too warm? Like, is it being
That's
sick?
what I said.
Like,
turn on a fan. I mean, it's simple. Like, if you're hot, turn on a fan. It's not the game's fault that you're hot. Like, he says some other things too. I've got a clip on it on my Twitter you can check out. I'm not even gonna read it because it's so offensive, and I don't like being misrepresented when they say seasoned PSVR vets. I feel like I'm a seasoned PSVR vet. I can say that, right?
I mean, if you're not, then nobody is. Right?
Well, and like, yeah, it says like even seasoned PSVR vets should be cautious or whatever, and I'm just like, no, don't misrepresent my people. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We've got a few tips we need to take care of here. We get the Wolf Craze with a $10 tip. Says, hey boys, happy hump day. Motherfucking yeah. Reviews I feel are randomly assigned just because it needs to be done and not for the sake of a true review of the title. Not always the case, but many times I find. I think that was the end of it. Yeah, Wolf Craze, I think you're absolutely right. I think when you're part of a editorial team, you don't get to be like, I'm sure occasionally they're like, oh, you love this series, go do that one. But when it comes to something like Fracked and no one actually plays PSVR on its team, yeah, somebody's going to go, well, oh, I had to review a VR game last month. I guess you have to do it this month. It's like they just take turns,
right.
Passing.
It's like they didn't know that it was like an action adventure, full locomotions, crazy over the top action game. And yeah, it's just really, and they like speak out against, like, I don't know. I don't even want to give any more attention to this. I think it's so infuriating to me. Well, but but like I said, they usually have stuff that I disagree with, but this was a big no-no to me, so I had to call it out.
Josh76 with a $5 tip says, I got motion sickness from Frack, and I know people who have. I do believe this should be reported on, but should not affect the overall score.
Right,
Again,
right.
That's crazy.
That's the main point here.
Right, and as AJ already pointed out, if it's something technical with the game, if it's running at like 42 frames per second and it just can't hit that 60 FPS to make to keep people from getting sick, well, then it is the game's fault. But in this case, we know that it's not. And some people are just more susceptible. And then we also have Slyward251, a Gamecat with the 251 quid, says, who should review VR games? #hire AJ, #hire Brian.
There you go.
Pretty good bookend to this conversation. I'm not, and I think the thing we want to be sure that we're not trying to say here is that you don't have to have played every single PSVR game to review VR games, but you do have to be coming from some place of some kind of knowledge and expertise. And so if this is the first PSVR game he's ever played, or even the fifth, or even the 10th, I'm sorry, with a magazine like Play that has a huge subscriber base, this is irresponsible.
Yeah. And it's, typically in the past, we've always seen it from some, what is it when they hire like a temporary kind of person to come and review?
Freelance, yeah.
When they do like a freelance journalist kind of thing. That's typically, and they're like, hey, we've got this VR game, and they have no idea what they're in for. That's what I'd expect, not from somebody that does play. And I get that that's the point they're trying to make, but again, you got to separate what's wrong with the game and what's wrong with you.
Right, and that's honestly, somebody mentioned Dez in the chat, and I do miss having Dez around as part of the channel, because he did offer that perspective where we could say, listen, this isn't common. Not everyone's going to feel this way, but from somebody, can you play this if you have motion sickness? Can't you? That's good to know, man. Like that is good information to have. I kind of wish that I could turn on and off a motion sickness flip in my brain so that I could report on this for other people. I wish, for people who are left-handed, I wish I could turn that switch on and off in my brain so I could try games left-handed and see what works and what doesn't. That's currently the problem without Parole, is that I don't get to choose the genre of game that I play, or which games that I play, or what games I review, because it's me reviewing everything. And so that worked out pretty well over the last 5 years, because I feel like I'm fucking an expert at PSVR games, or at least an expert at reviewing PSVR games. I know the ecosystem inside out. But the downside is you end up having to get an opinion from somebody like me who doesn't play hero shooters, and I have to review a hero shooter or strategy games, and I don't play strategy games. So hopefully that'll change moving forward, but we'll see. In the meantime, I'll just get a job at a record store. All right, dude, I think it is time to move on to the final segment of PSVR GamesCast Live, and that is, I know it's our favorite segment, PSVR 20 questions. AJ is the host this time. He's got a PlayStation VR game in mind, and all you guys in the chat, all you cats, and me, we have 20 yes or no questions to figure out what game he's thinking of, and we only have 6 minutes to do it. Tornado, give my pen back. She's a pen thief, man. All right.
I will be ready to keep count. Good luck, guys. Good luck, cats.
Let's do it. 6 minutes on the clock. Does it? Wow. I don't even have a first question.
Woo!
Can you drive vehicles in this game, or operate vehicles in this game?
You can drive or operate vehicles in this game.
All right. Nice. I like that. Is it first person?
It is first person.
Okay, I'm looking in the chat here. I want to make sure that I'm not the only person asking questions.
Your mouth was moving. I didn't know if you were saying something. I couldn't hear you for a second.
The ventriloquist was moving the mouth, but he forgot to speak. It's like... Lou for the Gamecat with the €5 says that I missed the part where you covered the Halloween sale. You did not. We'll have a special. We ran out of time. We'll have a special video on the channel for that tomorrow, I promise, and maybe we'll cover it on Friday's show if we have time. Sorry about that. Is it a racing game?
It is a racing game. That's 3.
Nice.
You are 3 for 3 so far,
dude. That was all Stingray X right there. He said Drive Club, and I was like, ooh, well, we should definitely go down the racing. Okay, racing path here. Okay, so it's a racing game where you're in vehicles. Does the entire game have PSVR support?
The entire game does have PSVR support, yes.
Okay, so that rules out our Gran Turismo guess here.
4 for 4.
Mm-hmm.
Killing it.
Mm-hmm. Is it a rally racing game?
Son of a bitch. It is a rally racing game.
Well, let's clarify real quick here.
Be careful.
Is it part of Rec Room? just trying to be careful here.
All right, that's your first no. It's not part of Rec Room.
All right. Is this game made by Codemasters?
This game is, in fact, made by Codemasters.
Fantastic. Is this game Dirt Rally?
Wrong. Yes, it is Dirt Rally. Nice job, man. Holy shit. You got every single question right. You man, good. I'm impressed. That was just like psychic abilities. Again, something today you've just you've been inside my head.
It's the ventriloquist. he knows all. I just move my mouth when he tells me to.
Well done, man.
All right, man, that's good stuff. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. Again, sorry that we didn't cover the spooky game sale on the PlayStation Network, but we ran out of time. We'll definitely take care of that either on Friday. But don't forget, I'll have an edited video about that on the channel tomorrow. I took a couple days kind of off, get my head straight. Needed a little bit of personal time, so that's why there wasn't PSVR this week. There were breaking news reports and obviously the sale video. But I've got a few things in the works that I'm really excited about, and so I think the rest of this week is going to be really great for the channel. So stay tuned. We had a lot of people to thank. Of course, we got Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry does timestamps. We got Miles Dyer, Jay Meow, all of the moderators who help us out not only here but over on Discord. So don't forget, join us over on Discord where this conversation and a ton of other things that we already talked about happen all the time. It's a great place to hang out, and every day just gets a little bit more crazy over there, and I love it. Love seeing all the cats hanging out, having a good time, talking about VR games. Also, thank you to AJ. Can't forget AJ. AJ's here all the time, and I couldn't do the show without him. Now, do me a favor, guys.
Thank you.
Since I suck at No Man's Sky, and you want to watch somebody who can play this update really great, the new Expedition, make sure you subscribe to him over at PSVR Underground and watch him tonight. He's going to be streaming it and showing you how the game is meant to be played, rather than the clip I showed you earlier, which is me going, I don't know how to open my inventory.
What I can tell you is that we will probably see some sandworms. That's the only thing I can tell you so far.
Nice. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be riding some sandworms, and yeah, come on over.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be jumping back in, man. I want to ride some sandworms myself.
Fun to check out.
Of course, thank you to everybody who hung out and watched the show live. Thank you to everybody who commented. Thank you to everybody who donated. And thank you to everybody who sat back and watched the show and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. AJ, can I cue the cat?
You the gato, Brian, because I want to say see you Friday and see you actually later tonight to Mark Pringle's Leaf. Take care to yourself as well. Oak V3D says, I'm going to put on my swim shorts and hop into AJ's stream. It says Steam, but I think that's true. Dark Angel 3, thank you for joining today. Nice to see you. Where did I see you? I saw you at maybe Wes's stream last night. Virtual Strangers, our buddy over there. Dan Kiefer says the Sandworm update is crazy. I can't wait to see it. Ash VR, the Groove Game Cat. Yes, give me some sugar, baby. Brax Bro, Justin Cassidy, walk without rhythm and you won't attract the worm. Endeavor 1, Q, Alberto, Mapom, the game, Gato, Nickulo in the chat tonight says, go learn to love No Man's Sky, Brian. I agree. Jazzy J, the Tarot Mage, have a happy hump day to you as well. The Wolf Praise, love you too, homie. Thank you so much for all of your work and support. It means the world to us. The Triangulator, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. I missed you, homie. Triangles, so many triangles. Atmos VR 77, Snack, Impulse, Boo, Jew, the Underground Game Cat, Elite Name Squad in the house. Thank you so much. Twitch of the single player Game Cat has been saying Mervils over and over. We got to do Mervils so we can.
For like 3 years, I think. Yeah.
I'll be sure to choose a good game instead. Picasso Lane with the magnifique hand signal. Stingray X, thank you so much. Steve IRE, all too easy. I know he killed that one. Brian Piccolo says Dirt Rally is so good. I couldn't agree more. Dirt Rally is amazing,
so good,
especially if you have a racing wheel. But it's good without it too. But the racing wheel is like next level immersive. Awesome hardcore sim racing. It is the Dark Souls of VR racing games after all. Song in the Flame Cat. Hi, AJ. Hi, AJ. Neon Groove. Yeah. Josh 76. Thanks so much. Let's see. Neon. I said Neon Groove already. Genetic Blasphemy. The reverse engineered Game Cat. I don't know what you're laughing at, but I'm laughing with you, not at you. Steve IRE. Thank you. Did know it was dirt, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the night, Ian Stanbridge and Mick Coles. I will see you guys again soon. Johnny Wright Pop the Stray Cat. Beat you ass later in some Creed Rise to Glory. Cheater.
Nice.
He had maple syrup on his gloves and hit me in the eyes, and my eyes were shut together. I couldn't see him.
I don't even know what to say. All right, you guys. Meow meow. Love you.